All right, and we're back with some more Dagger and falling. I'm so sorry, I really am. So we are a level 11 booty action. In the last episode, we had killed Lord Woodbourne. I nearly just died jumping off of this thing. So, that is an awful texture. Good lord, I know what it is. It's actually just this texture shrunk down and then repeated. Anyway, enough of that. Let's stop looking at that. It's really ugly. So what are we doing next? We only have 2 quests left, and that is the ending and finding out where the totem goes to and how to get the totem. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's go ahead and go to Daggerfall. Let's go to our main hall. No, I don't want this. I want to go to Aldingwall. Yes, thank you, Jesus. So we'll go to Aldingwall. Now, there we go. A cheerful young woman hands you a letter and then walks away whistling. Alright, this should probably be it. Yep. Shriaki, come at me to Greybra in Wayrest. I will be waiting at the White Ogre for you. The fate of the Empire could be at stake. So, Greybra. Okay, let's do it. So, Greybra. Greybrone would have been way cooler, but Greybra. So this is based on, God damn it, are you serious? We'll do it without camping, or sorry, with camping then. What? 82 days! How about no? I think the Empire being in a little bit more dire strait. Let's grab some gold out of the wagon first. I don't even know how much I have in... 20 gold? Jesus. Where is all of my gold? There it is. Max items. Let's just take, 4K. How about that? Like a 4K TV. So, anyways, the area that you get the quest in for this is going to be in the last area you did the last, quest line in. So, since I did it in Wayrest, it's going to be in Wayrest. So, we're looking for the White Ogre. There we go. So, Ogres surprisingly weren't added until, I believe, Oblivion, which is really funny. Well, there was Ogrim, but those are different. So, there's Lady Bree. Yo. Shriaki, I'm glad you could meet me here. The Blades and your Emperor need you again. You may or may not be aware that the Totem of Tiber Septim has been found. For a brief time, Lord Woodbourne of Wayrest had it. Where he got it from is still a mystery. The Blades mounted an assault on Woodbourne Hall to retrieve it. Although the hall fell, many of our number fell with it. I think I killed them all before he got there, though. We sacked the Woodbourne Hall, but the totem was gone. I have reason to believe that Gothrid has the totem. The Blades no longer have the men to mount an assault on Castle Daggerfall. You have shown yourself to be quite adept at getting in and out of these places. Would you go to Castle Daggerfall and retrieve the Totem of Tiber Septim? Sure. I knew I could count on you. The totem is most likely in the Daggerfall treasury. It's a huge room, quite unmistakable. I am leaving in a couple of days. I shall send word to you where you can meet me after you get the totem. Should you succeed, the Emperor has instructed me to gift you with an artifact of great power and renown, Warlock's Ring. So, big deal. Alright, we'll talk about that in a minute, though. So, remember how I told you you will eventually go to all the main quest area, like, dungeons eventually. So this is the Daggerfall one. This is the time to shine. This is for all the marbles. I was like, what? There we go. We'll just pretend a month passed by and no one questioned a damn thing. So this is going to be the last, technically the second to last dungeon in the whole game, and surprisingly it's actually very easy. I know. So, if you couldn't catch the drift, Gothrid has it because him and Woodbourne were pretty tight. I believe Gothrid is, what's her name? Minisera's son. I'm not sure how Gothrid plays in relation, but I guess he's just surrogate. He was probably like tempted through some bullshit, I don't know. It's explained somewhere in the literature in the game, but I'm simplifying, of course. But yeah, this is, in theory, the last area of the game next to, well, we'll get there when we get there, won't we? But this is pretty much the last of the main quest, and then we make our LeBron James. So, okay. And which I have kind of thought of, and I'll explain my answer when I get there. So let's go ahead and make a dungeon start save. Mark. Thank God I'm actually remembering to do that this time. Talk to the guard, say sure. I don't know why sure is an acceptable response. So to get into this area, this is King Gothrid. There's Abkey. We're gonna go to the left. Don't you do it. Oh god, now we've really jostled the hornet's nest. So this quest isn't very challenging, but if you couldn't tell, this can be very, very dangerous, because A, we're gonna go into this kind of shit. I love how the Royal Guard is just... They're more important, but me killing people in front of nobles, that's fine. Oh, look at all these dwarven doodads. Addy Saber! 615. It's tempting, but it's cool loot. So yeah, if you ever want to get, like, really quick loot in terms of, like, scaled humanoid loot, these areas are good to do it, or Sinium is another good one. It just depends on what you want to do. You don't have to dungeon crawl to find good items. You can usually get it off of humanoids or selling things from merchants, so... You can make a ton of money in this game without ever having to go into a single dungeon if you're careful. But why would you? I mean, that's part of the fun of Daggerfall, is it's a dungeon crawler, but, you know, I get it. Not everybody likes dungeon crawling. Me, personally, I love that shit. I love it in Oblivion, I hated it in Skyrim. It was okay in Morrowind, you know? There's a lot of differences in each Elder Scrolls game that I love and or hate. I think my biggest favorite dungeon crawling comes from Oblivion, and this game, of course. Arena, I really don't have much opinion on, because I don't think... Arena is such a... almost of a concept of a game to me. It's not like it's that crazy, but it's definitely not my cup of tea. Maybe someday I'll play it, but as it stands currently, it's my second to least favorite Elder Scrolls game. But that's not to say that Skyrim's the worst thing ever, by the way. I just don't like it that much. I'll keep that healing. Rare symbol is good loot, and we'll drop off 6,000 gold. We're not going to need that much, so let's go ahead and take in some Gator Rage in honor of Lethal Feline, of course. And we'll take a left, and we can go ahead and break into the treasury. Now, this dungeon is pretty easy, but it does have some obtuse horse shit in it, because this is Daggerfall, after all. If you couldn't tell, anything in Daggerfall involving pretty much everything is going to include some level of horse shittery, because it is Daggerfall. But this is probably going to be our second to last episode. The next one's going to be, well, a certain place that has already been referenced a few times. So this is technically the second to last quest in the whole game. So how you determine the end of this quest determines how the ending of the game is going to go as far as what ending you get. And we'll explain that when we actually pick up the Totem of Tibur Septim. So we can kind of cheese this because we have Levitate, but if you don't, you have to go all the way through all this bullshit, and it's not a fun time. So what you want to do is, I've explained this before in the past, because I've actually seen this module a few times and marked about it as well. God, I died, didn't I? Yeah, that's... Am I... Yeah, I was like, I'm dead, but not really dead. Okay, that's... I'm a fucking lich. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and try that again. This time without getting... Where was that dude? That's the main question. I'm like, man, he fucking got me good. What is... Oh, I know what killed me there. That was actually a trap. Enemies aren't affected by traps either, so... That was not a fun time. I'm pretty sure that was what was shooting at me, too. So, fuck that whole area. So go north through this. And then we take a left. I've explained how to do this in the past. Hi, Mr. Centaur Man. I'll kill you because you're in the way. You don't need to live anymore. Elven Querus is really cool looking. I hate that it's not as good as Dwarven because it actually looks cool, especially on our character, but we'll keep it as loot. Why not? It's pretty. So yeah, this is, like I said, the second to last dungeon. I think it's surprisingly, once you know where you're supposed to go, it's actually a fairly easy dungeon. Similar to something like Scourge Burrow. I've played RuneScape, I know what it's called. And the reason I'm killing these enemies is because I would like to get a little bit more goodies before I head off into the endgame, because, well, surprisingly, I don't want to be underleveled when I go into the final dungeon, because that's going to be a really bad time if I show up there with some pretty bad stuff, obviously. So let's be smart about it. Now, am I correct in saying I want to go left through here? No, it's the next left. Oh boy. I am excited because this is a very easy dungeon, and I'm very ready to show you some of the bullshit that this... I've explained it in the past, but you get to see it in action in here. So, okay. So this is the treasury. Now, let me get some mana, because I'm going to need some... Hello. I'm going to need some hello, yeah. I'm going to need some mana so I can do some levitate. God damn it, people. Leave me alone. I don't need this bullshit in my life. Not right now. I'd rather be safe and just heal up. So I probably will make a few healing items before I go into the final dungeon of the entire game, because... Oh my god, this knight is beating the shit out of me. Good lord. Oh, that's levitate. Fuck. I didn't mean that. Oh dear. Let's see if I can, I just want to rest, damn it. That's all I've been trying to do. This is a very short dungeon when you know what you're doing. That's all I can tell you. So, okay. Ooh, an Orcish Warhammer. Bitchin'. That's a pretty cool find. Like I said, Orcish is a little bit more rare than Daedric, even though it's not as technically, quote-unquote, statistically good. So anyways, this is the room. Right in front of me is the Totem of Tiber Septim. And those are, if you've remembered the Lich quest, unbreakable. We have to actually lower those with a switch, and we also have to lower this room into that spot. How do we do that? Very awkward implementation of a very strange puzzle that is down here. So this is also a unique dungeon module. This never shows up in the game anywhere else. Let's go ahead and drop that Querus, actually. Even though I like the way it looks, I'm not going to be able to really keep it with me for this. So yeah, you can see there's some slaughterfish down there, so we are going to have to go into a water area. And this is the part that I have to remember a little bit, because while I do know the layout, I just need to remember how to actually get through all this, because it's been... Well, it's actually been a week since I've done this in real time, so I do have to kind of remember some of this spot, but it's not very complicated. We just have to find a switch, basically. However, that's the easy part, right? And we just have to take care of all these fucking... this is tricky. There's a way in vanilla Daggerfall if you save the game, I think, and then you... No, not rest. Doesn't matter. Watch, you probably had, like, Daedric or something. If you rest in the right angle, you can actually, like, keep all the loot in one big pile. Alright. Oh, god damn it. There's, like, one fucking archer. Alright, so I gotta remember which one this is. Some of this loops around itself, the other part doesn't, so... Okay. Man, remember when slaughterfish were a genuine threat? Pepperidge Farms remembers. So... Yeah, we need to go through here. We need to find a switch. And like I said, this just loops around it. It's a little bit weird. I think it's just this room. Okay, we'll talk about this in a minute. That's where we need to be. Now, let's find the thing that's going to lower this sector. Pretty sure it's in here with this Ice Atronak. I'm 99% certain. Yep, there we go. So we can rotate that doodad, and this, if we go out here, rotated this down on top of us. That's pretty cool, I guess. So what we need to do, obviously, touch the chains. Duh. Fucking obviously. What'd you expect it was? Some other secret passageway that connects to these other dungeon modules, and just instead it's a random piece of decoration in a dungeon that looks like everything else in the entire game that we've seen up to 1,000 times at this point? What else did you think it was going to be, dumbass? Alright, so... Is there an archer still? Yeah, I see him over there. Fucking shooting his little poopy arrows at me. I don't need to kill him, but I would like to get a nice chance. Just to get something. And yeah, that's just a bit of an artifacting error. I think that actually still happens in vanilla Daggerfall with the blue bars. So I'm pretty sure, if I look at my map in a moment... Are they... Yeah, so you can see that those blue bars are technically over here. I guess you could infer that that's a teleporter, but I think this might only show up in this version of the game. I'm not sure if this actually shows up in the vanilla. It's been many a moon since I've only done this twice in that version of the game, so... Anywho, this is just some stereotypical loot piles. I mean, this is essentially the treasury of the kingdom, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for something else. We're looking for the Totem of Tiber Septim, which... Oh, come on, man. Where the heck did it go? It's not like it went anywhere. There it is. Now, call me crazy, but I'm 99.99% certain. Oh, that's right. Duh. I'm like, there's a switch we have to hit. Oh my god, I feel so stupid. Just don't listen to me. Just don't ever listen to me. I'm a little tired. And then... This is it. This is what we came here for. This tiny little baby cigar thing. Pick it up. Any minute now, it's going to tell me what it is. Come on. Come on, weird cigar baby. There we go. A voice in your head in tones. How do I want to read this? No. You are Shriaki. You are my new host. Know this now and resolutely. You are not worthy to carry the totem of Tiber Septim. Only those of his bloodline may carry me. I will give you a year and a day, quite generous really, to accomplish this. So, well, what does that mean? This means that we have essentially the ability to frickin' solve all the problems. So let's go ahead and... Can't sleep now. I'll give you can't sleep now. Let's go ahead and recall our way out of this hellhole. Okay. Teleprot. So, yay. We've basically started the Who Gets the Totem quest right now. Now this quest is a bit weird. So, I'll explain as much as I can remember. I've only ever chosen a few different things to end the game with. So, you know, we're in Daggerfall at nighttime, which I forgot to mention. Lysandros' ghost no longer screams about vengeance every 5 minutes now. Let's see if I can loot a few stores before we get out of here, because I'm gonna need to do some explaining. So, magically, we have something that is very, very strong, very magical, very powerful. Obviously, we're not of the Tiber Septim bloodline. We can't fully make use out of this because we're just a pleb. Now, however, people of the bloodline can make use out of this thing, right? So, what are they going to do with it? And who are the people that are going to do stuff with it? Well, we're going to get a couple of letters, because this is Blue's fucking clues, and we're going to, based on our own morality, there is some rewards, by the way, but I'll explain those if I can remember them. And this is another thing that's nice about Daggerfall Unity, is that these actually work. So in vanilla Daggerfall, some of these things just flat out wouldn't work, depending on who you gave the totem to. What is in the Emperor's potions? Because I don't think stores actually sell potions. I don't think they are programmed to do that. Pretty sure it's just ingredients. I'm not really after that. Let's see if I can get some Daedric. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, I've gotten numerous sets of full Daedric on my characters in the past. It's nothing new. That's Ebony. Ebony Dagger, what do you know? Orcish Flail. Nice. So yeah, what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to basically wait, and we're gonna get some letters of who we think out of all these people deserve this very powerful magic artifact. And if the game doesn't explain it, which it should, because it actually does tell you what the the thing is. Morad spices. I will tell you my reasonings when we get all the options, because my reasoning, I have kind of said it in the past, but I'll explain something right now. This ending that you choose, it doesn't really matter. I want that cloak. Can I wear that? I want that. I want that on my character, man. I want that on my person. Let's equip it. Damn, that's cool looking. I like it. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Especially the fact that I'm a dark elf, it makes it match my skin tone. So yeah, anyways. Ooh, Addy Long. We've already got an Addy Long. The way you end the game doesn't really matter. Because canonically, I'm gonna say something flat out that is hand-waved in the Bethesda-istest of ways. But I kind of understand why they did it the way they did, because there's not really many options we can do after this, and I understand. This game does have a very, very complicated story that would make a hard rule. So, in Elder Scrolls lore, and I've mentioned it before, look at these bars, when this item, the totem, gets delivered to somebody, theoretically, all endings happen based on, I think it's Akatosh, am I correct? He's the god of time. Something basically called like a dragon skip, but then everyone uses that as like a hand-waving way of saying, oh, all Elder Scrolls games are just different dragon skips in time, and there's a... There's a book... Oh, Jesus. There's actually a book in lore called Where Were You on the something, and it's basically everybody doesn't know what happened because nobody at the writing team felt like bothering to create continuity, but it's also because the endings in this game are very complex. So let's go to Aldingwall, and hopefully we can get our first letter by the time we get there. I told you that was a very short dungeon. I should be getting it very soon. I already know who I want to side with, just for future reference. Let's try... Well, first of all, let's put our stuff in our cart. We have a lot of shit we're lagging around. So there's a lot of things you can determine. So, if you don't know who Tiber Septim, not Tiger Septim, Tiger Balm! Tiber Septim was the original ruler of the area, right? So, let's see, I should be getting a... I am amazed I haven't gotten one yet. Let's see if I go to Daggerfall. We'll even camp out, just to make sure more time passes. So we have a year and a day for the game to make, for us to make our decision. Which is strange, because I'm supposed to get the, what's it called? Actually, let's go in here and sell some stuff. Sturdy shelves. This is an average store. I might as well buy something while I'm here anyways. Oh man. I don't even want to know how much all this is going to end up being. This is going to be like 35k. It's not even going to be worth it. Oh, it's going to be sad. Damn it, man. I don't want to know. Oh, Lord. And that should do it. 43k. Oh, that's nothing. That's nothing. By the way, look how much this costs. Good Lord. 3,000. I thought it was more. Doesn't matter, I guess. So let's go... Oh, there we go. Cheerful young woman hands you a letter and then walks away whistling. Okay. Okay, so this is the official ending. If you're reading this, you must have gotten the totem and escaped from the dungeons of Castle Daggerfall. I am in Mid-Castle Borough of Wayrest at the Moorham residence. Bring the totem there as soon as possible, Lady Brisiana. So this is the Empire ending. So the ending of this is sensible, right? You're giving it to the actual royal bloodline. So that's one way of ending the quest. That's technically the goody two-shoes version of ending the quest. I want to get my gold stashed and see how much I actually have on me, because I want to buy a ship. I want to buy a boat, motherfucker. Don't you ever forget. A letter floats strangely through the air. Strangely, nobody else seems to notice it. The letter tucks itself into your pack. By the way, typo. The letter tucks itself into your pack. This should be the King of Worms, right? Yeah, this is the Underking. Different, sorry. Centuries ago, Tiber Septim ruled the land and forged an empire with great Numidium. I think they're supposed to be the, by the way. The secret of Numidium's power lies in its heart, carried within the Mantella. It is the heart of Tiber Septim's battle mage. It is my heart. It is my Mantella. It is my totem. It belongs to me and to none other. I have won and lost an empire. I have no desire to tamper further with mortal affairs. I have in my possession Necromancer's Amulet, one of the world's greatest artifacts. You may have it in exchange for the totem. My most loyal agent will await your arrival in the Bleeding Tree of Akatosh of Wayrest at the order of the hour, Underking. So, what does that mean? The Underking is technically... Oh, here we got another one. A hand grips your wrist from behind. Spinning, you open your mouth to shout for the guards. A skeletal hand stuffs a letter into your mouth. The heavily robed skeleton raises your wrist and turns away, unnoticed by other passerby. Letter, Lord of the Necromancers, King of the Worms. You will soon have the totem of Tiber Septim in your hands. It is foreseen in the stars, and I have read them. Know you this. All of mortal stature are filled with pride and greed. To give the totem to any of them is to let loose mortal vanity upon this world. They will destroy the very thing they covet. I have no earthly desires. I have no mortal pride, no petty greed. Only one, such as I, can wield the totem safely, for I would take it into the Aetherius and leave behind this earthly shell. So long as the totem exists, it is a danger to all on Tamriel. Bring me the totem, and I will safeguard the world. I will not offer you gold or gems. I will offer you only what I can give, fame. Your reputation throughout Tamriel will soar. Lord of the Necromancers, King of Worms. So, that's another option. Now, the Underking technically does. He is theoretically the rightful heir of the staff, because in lore, he used his bullshit to get rid of the Great Numidium, which if you've played Morrowind, you know what the Great Numidium is. It's what Dagoth Ur is trying to resurrect. So, it technically is part of his storyline. It's very important. So let's go ahead and deposit our gold. I don't think we have enough. Actually, no, let me go in my bank. Or sorry, my wagon. Wagon. Dead bodies dragging. I'm going to say that every time. How much gold do I have as a whole? Do I have any more? No. Let's deposit 4250, and then I have 17k in my bank still, or sorry, my wagon. So yeah, Underking technically is the rightful heir of the staff by proxy, because technically the Mantella, which is what the thing is helping control. Alright, the best way to look at this, Numidium is the Dwarven construct. Aetherius is the part of Oblivion in the outside mortal area. The Mantella Crux is where the Heart of Lorcan, or whatever you want to call it, is... Sorry, Heart of Lorcan's a different thing. Whatever it is, the Staff of Tiber Septim controls the, like the Mantella. And that, in turn, controls who controls the Dwemer Giant, basically. Because it's supposed to be, like, really unstable without it. So let's go ahead and buy a ship, actually. Oh, that's right, we're not in a ship town. I know your type. Let's see if I can sell a few more things so I can get a bit more pocket gold before we go out and make my decision. Now, you're supposed to get fame for, what's his name? The King of Worms. However, in vanilla Daggerfall, that's not actually the case. It doesn't work properly. There's a few other options. There's also Wayrest, and there's also Sentinel, which that's, I think, basically the same. I could be wrong. It doesn't matter. So all these people basically want the totem now that it's in power. We're supposed to get one from Gortwog as well. I don't know why he hasn't said anything yet. He must not like me very much. Let's go to a pawn shop. And that one is... I think it's up... Yeah, it's on this end here. So, basically, everybody wants the totem for a different reason. When we get Gortwog's letter, he'll basically say he wants to use the staff to control Numidium to basically establish Orsinium as an empire. King of Worms wants to ascend into godhood. Now you can say that, oh, well, there's already a death god, technically. It's Sithis. Wrong! Sithis is not actually an Aedra or a Daedra. He's simply a aspect of, I can't remember what it is. Basically, I think it's Namira, I'm pretty sure. So, theoretically, there is not a death god in the lore of Elder Scrolls at this point. So that's his idea. He wants to basically create a, well, I guess, official culthood and make himself a powerful deity. Which, in its own right, I mean, he has his own mortal body, yeah, but he even says, I don't really have the same conventions as your people, right? So, as far as King of Worms is concerned, he just wants to use it to ascend for his followers and necromancy as a whole, right? Let's go to Daggerfall, and I'll show you why in a minute. The Underking, he basically wants the staff to ascend to death because he is in a perpetual state of undying. So he's neither alive nor dead. All he really wants is to basically take this staff and leave, right? What the fuck? Oh, I know what this one is. So this is an assassination squad. Queen Acherithy sent us to relieve you of a heavy burden. The totem must be a weight on your mind. It's too bad you didn't try harder to stay on her good side. She also ordered us to kill you. No witnesses, of course. So, keep in mind, we did technically break into the Daggerfall, like, treasury, and we kind of took an important artifact that was theoretically royal property, I guess? So, yeah, we kind of did a bad thing in terms of, you know, what could have been. There's also giving this totem to Daggerfall, I believe. There's also Wayrest and Sentinel. Now, if you do those endings, you get kind of just a generic ending. There is, I think, some reward. I know if you side with Wayrest, they actually lie and say they're going to give you a reward and don't actually give you one. They're basically like, hey, guess what we give you? Death squads, and then fuck you because you killed a lot of our people and stuff. So, and exposed probably the corruption of our entire people. You probably don't need to live very long, so in my honest to God opinion, the worst ending is probably going to be what's it called faction, the Wayrest faction. Sentinel is okay. I think they pay you 30,000 gold. It's like 30,000 or 100,000. I don't remember. It's some ludicrous number. Let's go ahead and do something I should have done a long time ago. Let's go ahead and buy a fucking ship, dude. I'm on a boat. I've never bought the longboat. We'll buy the big boat. This one doesn't look as good anyways. This looks kind of lame. Looks like Jabba's sail barge. Alright, let's go ahead and buy this. Congratulations! You purchased a sturdy vessel capable of ferrying you anywhere within the Iliac Bay. So, we have 23 grand in our inventory. Let's withdraw 1,000. Okay, so hell yeah, dude. We bought a boat. You guys probably thought I wasn't going to do this. I was. I did it all along. No! Not that loud. And let's go ahead and backup save. So, one more thing. I could do Orsinium's quest, but... oh, excuse me. I don't feel like waiting for Gortwog. So, my choice, and my choice alone... I say that the King of Worms. And now you're probably like, Seth, why are you choosing the King of Worms? Because in theory, he would take the fucking totem out of the goddamn plane of existence. So there would no longer be a problem. This is, in my mind, the most practical solution to this problem. The other solution, which I went through on my last playthrough, is I chose the Underking, because that's also a very valid solution. I don't think there's anything wrong with choosing the Underking. Like, his ending makes the most sense because it's technically his, but in my opinion, I think it just makes sense to have the King of Worms because he doesn't have mortal care. What's the worst that could possibly happen, honestly? You could say, oh, well, the Necromancers. Well, they really aren't causing much problems other than between the King of Worms and everything. Sorry, the Underking. So in my mind, King of Worms is the best choice. Plus, he's got sexy ladies in his dungeon. Why wouldn't you? And look at this place. This place is bitchin'. It's pretty rad and metal, man. Of course I'm gonna pick the King of Worms. Duh, who'd you think I was gonna pick?
The totem. At last it is within my grasp. You have done well, Shriaki. I shall remember this when I have transformed. Search now for the Mantella. Without it, the totem is worthless. In the meantime, enjoy the adoration of the world.
My voice isn't good. The unmistakable voice of Nulfaga speaks softly into your head. I see that the totem has found its way into the hands of someone with royal blood. Why technically he's considered royal blood is beyond me, but anyways. I think it is time you paid me another visit here in Shedunjit, Shiraki. Your work is not yet done. Yeah, see, this Wraith thinks this, or this Lich thinks it's pretty cool. What do you have to say to me, dude? Well met, stranger. See, that kind of armor's badass. This is why you choose the Necros. Because in my opinion, if this... Okay, all things technically happen in lore. I'll just say that. So, technically all these events happen. The King of Worms gets it, the Underking gets it, Sentinel gets it, Daggerfall gets it, the Emperor gets it. Everybody gets this fucking thing, right? So in canon, none of these choices matter. But ultimately, if I had a solution as to why I chose King of Worms as well, if you eliminate necromancy from being a problem and just having it more of a controlled form of magic, which it technically is in Morrowind, there would not be as much resistance during the Oblivion Crisis because the necromancers could help fight off Mehrunes Dagon, eliminating the massive power vacuum that the Champion of Cyrodiil prevents, or succeeds in. And also keeping the balance of time in nature, because if you took out the player character from Oblivion, who theoretically becomes Sheogorath and does that shit, I think that time would balance itself out. I personally think because of the Mehrunes Dagon conspiracy with Mankar Cameron, I don't think that the Necromancers would be okay with Mehrunes Dagon invading, and they'd also point out a lot of the hypocrisy in his philosophy. I think this would have prevented the Oblivion Crisis in some way or the other. This is because, in my mind, this makes sense, and that's why I chose the ending I chose. So, one thing we're going to do, we're going to go to Aldingwall one last time. And by the way, let's show off the ship when I get here. A portly man bearing the standard of Wayrest approaches you. His somber expression never changes as he were... Fuck him. Page livery of Sentinel. I don't care about either of these people. Fuck them. They were never there for me. All they did was make me do shit. Oh, fuck. I'm broke as hell, aren't I? Oh, fuck. Well, I'm pretty sure I can pull this off anyways. So, anyways, my point is, I still think the King of Worms is an adequate choice. The King of Worms or the Underking. But my honest-to-God opinion is the legalization and practice of controlled necromancy. Because here's everyone says, oh, what if the necromancers did this? Well, if it's controlled, and then they have... Because they had that already in the fucking game. So, like, or in the series, right? Like, they had people controlling necromancy as, like, a legal practice. If someone desecrates a tomb, that's desecration. That's simple logic. It's just like any other magic. And I think this would also prevent the Mages Guild from falling apart like it does later on in Oblivion. Because if you did this, then they wouldn't have outlawed, like, recall, teleport, all that shit. So I think this would have actually been more beneficial to the magic system as a whole in the entire province and the controlled magic systems, I think. This is why I think it makes sense to me. I hope that makes some sense. Let's try and see if I can put some gold. Hopefully I have enough. Cast, no, not that. Cast when you use heal. Shit, it's 3k. Do I have any items I can sell on me? Not really. Let's do a few things before we get started. We need to make a few healing items before we go to Shedunjit, because guess what? It's the last dungeon in the game. When you go in there, you can't come back out. And when you go in, you are going to either finish the game, or the game is going to break on you and you're not going to be able to do anything, right? So we need to make sure we have some supplies for going into there, because guess what? It's going to be the last video in the series in the next episode, so I want to make damn sure I'm prepared for that, because if not, it's going to be absolutely horrible. Okay, so we should be able to get... at least just steal a few items, but I hope it makes sense with my choices and the way I ended it, because as I said, I don't think that the King of Worms is necessarily evil. It's just the fact that he deals with necromancy, and that's kind of... Yeah, I can get where you're coming from, fam. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, he's dealing with corpses and stuff, but, you know, if you could understand Oblivion, the concept, like the area, a lot better. Because this is the thing, when new players into the Elder Scrolls hear Oblivion, they think of Mehrunes Dagon's Plane of Oblivion, which looks like hell, right? Oblivion is theoretically, like, all of outside of the Mundus, the planet this takes place in. Or Nirn, if you will. So, technically, in my mind, that unblocking that research that the Mages Guild outlaws later on in Oblivion, can only do better, right? Like, this can only improve, like, and keep magic study alive and healthy for the future of the Empire and the future of magical study and scholarliness, right? It would help people understand things in the future. And you see, this is something you don't get in games like Skyrim. There's no complexity to those choices. It's either, do you want to be the good guy, do you want to be the bad guy, right? That's like, why couldn't you just side with, Dragon Man, Trogdor, whatever his name was? Like, that's what I mean. Like, I think personally, the kind of choice that this creates is awesome. I love the idea that my choice makes a difference to me based on my own personal decisions. Yeah, we do get some reputation bonuses, that's cool and all, but ultimately, the choice I made is not based on anything but, like, my own personal choice. Like, this is the choice I would make in real life if I was in this situation. I'd be like, well, you know, well then again, we don't know what the Numidium technically is at this point. We could just assume Numidium is just a place. But as far as I'm concerned, the Empire is crumbling and it's already weak. But if we're going by the actual in-game lore explanation that everything just sort of happens either way, it really doesn't matter. So I personally think my ending idea is sensible. And in lore, regardless, like I said, all these things happen. I guess the best way to look at it too, if you don't know, Mannimarco ascends. Like, he does become a form of Daedra, kind of, like an Adric figure. So he does technically ascend to godhood. And I think when people hear Mannimarco, they think of Oblivion, where you kill the Wood Elf guy, right? I don't think that's actually him. That's more than likely just an aspect or a follower that has assumed his name. Or he's speaking through. Like, oh, excuse me. Holy shit, that's a lot of guards. To me, that makes sense. That's what I think everybody kind of comes to the conclusion on. Because all the characters, like the Underking, is real. We never actually see the Underking in lore. We only hear about him. And that's because, guess what? He's a mystery. He's interesting. And we don't need to see him to know that he's there. He's on the fucking cover of the box. Shit's real. He's like the Sasquatch of Oblivion and stuff. Or sorry, not Oblivion, but this game. Alright, let's go ahead and sell some stuff. And then we're gonna enchant some shit. And then we're gonna go finish the game. Let me see what time it is for me. It's 9:20. Cool. That's plenty of time to finish this game, I hope. And hopefully not lose all my energy. Really gotta pee. I'm like shaking. I have to pee so bad right now. Be right back. Alright, and we're back. Much better. So we're gonna sell this goodie. And then we're going to make a few items. And then we're gonna teleport in to basically finish the game. The Dirty Woodchuck. Oh, God, that's a great name. Okay, practical manner. That's fine. Sup, dude? Notice how half of your stock went missing overnight? Wasn't me. 7K. I probably don't really need much more. How much do I have in the wagon, though? Yeah, that's fine. I've got 8K. I only need to enchant one thing anyways, so... The Dirty Woodchuck. I'm sorry, that name is just golden. So... And before we do all that, of course I'll show the character stats off to show how we got there. It might be bad. The static enemies in that final dungeon are pretty fucking intense, but I think I can handle it. I like to assume I can. I did just fine last time, so I shouldn't be in too much of a shit show this time, I think. It's still gonna be tough. Alright, so let's go ahead and make our gear. And main save. Bedrick Wixley. Ronald Bilius fucking Weasley. Diamond. Alright, let's go ahead and add cast when held. Just heal. No, actually cast when used. This is probably a waste, but I can always get another one, by the way. 3K and I absorb spells? No, that's too much. How about What about fatigue? Can I throw that on there too? How about shield? No, that's too much. Probably just fatigue and then I'll call it a day. If I can find the damn thing. There we go. 490. Yeah, cool. Diamond of Neocortex. Sure. Awesome. So we have that. That's just super. See, we can use that from here. Alright, we got the Diamond of Neocortex. That's gonna be our fucking ace in the hole. So, only one place to go to, man. You know what that means. Alright. So let's go to the Rothgarian Mountains, Shedungent, and yes, we're not gonna travel cautiously. Sorry, I think I did travel there cautiously. Oh well. Okay, and of course, we already know the password in retrospect, so we're gonna go in, tell it to shut up. Opens the door up. There's always enemies in here, by the way. There's always 2 enemies, I think, that are leveled, so... Alright. Get fucked, thank you. I actually went in here with Daedric on my last character, so that was a lot easier. So this is gonna be weird. But alright, so this is it. It's for all the marbles, man. We're gonna do the last dungeon in the next episode, and that's gonna be the end of it. Like, the whole thing. So I'll see you then.